All right, we're back with another Fantasy Goodfellas video where we talk about the top 30 running backs for Week 13. But before we get started, let's just recap how we did on Week 12.
Well, in Week 12, we had all this COVID craziness, right? So that's 6 guys that didn't play it. So of the remaining 24 players, we hit on 16. So boom, 16 of 24 for Week 12. And it could even be higher. You know, if James Conner's not going to play, I don't believe. But if Gus Edwards would make it, but regardless, for what we have, it's 16 of 24.
Let's get started for the top 30 running backs for Week 13. The Fantasy Goodfellas.
Boom. Rolling on the field.
The Fantasy Goodfellas.
And number 1, Derrick Henry. Home against Cleveland. Derrick Henry gets the touches every week, and he is a beast. And number 2, we have Dalvin Cook home against Jacksonville. This is a good matchup. Ryan?
Yeah, so Dalvin Cook is going against Jacksonville, 31st ranked defense, and they're 29th against the rush. He should have a big game.
Yeah, I think so too, even though Kirk Cousins, they're opening up that offense, and Kirk Cousins is throwing a lot more too. And number 3, Nick Chubb at Tennessee. Nick Chubb and his 6.3 yards per carry. It's a beast. Number 4, Alvin Kamara at Atlanta. Kamara had a slow Week 12. We expect him to rebound and do well against an Atlanta defense that has many weaknesses. And number 5, James Robinson in Minnesota. Jacksonville's lone bright spot. And at number 6, Aaron Jones home against Philadelphia. Jamal Williams has been getting more touches. Still, Aaron Jones is still the number 1 on that team, and we know how explosive Green Bay is. And number 7, welcome back, Austin Ekeler. Home against New England. Came back, we didn't know what to expect, and had a big game, at least receiving. So he will continue to be a big part of that LA Charger offense. Number 8, we have Chris Carson. Home against the New York Giants. This is a good matchup, and Chris Carson looked good on Monday night. And number 9, Antonio Gibson at Pittsburgh. Gibson has a tough matchup, but he has been brilliant. Ryan?
Wow, what a game he had last week. That kind of leads him. He's the 5th best running back in standard leads. He's number 3rd in rushing TDs with 11. He scored TDs in the last 5 games, 8 total TDs in that span.
Yes. Gibson is on a roll. Again, tough matchup, but we had to put him in our top 10. And number 10, Raheem Mostert. Home against Buffalo. Raheem got a lot of touches this week, scored a touchdown, and we expect for his workload to increase. And number 11, a little bit of a surprise, but it's a guy I've been high on all year, really hasn't delivered, but Jonathan Taylor. We have him here. He's got a good matchup. If he plays, because he's on that COVID list, if he plays, the last game he played, he got 20 touches. We hope he'll get the same amount of touches and he'll have a great game. But if he doesn't play, then we'll put Nyheim Hines right here at the same spot. So, Ryan, what do you have to say about Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, it's looking good for whatever running back starts this week. They're going against Houston. Ranked 31st against the rush. I think that they don't really have a lot to fight for.
Yeah, and they also they lost Will Fuller. Yeah, I don't know how that locker room is doing right now. And number 12, we have Kenyan Drake. Home against the LA Rams. Another guy that has been getting a lot of touches. Well, he received a lot of touches in Week 12. We think they're going to stay with this plan. He is their best running back. 13, Ezekiel Elliott of Baltimore, and Zeke laid an egg in Week 12. I expect him to rebound. I don't expect him to be as bad, but he is playing a very stout Baltimore D. At number 14, we have Miles Sanders at Green Bay. And boy, Carson Wentz is holding back Miles Sanders. Ryan?
Yeah, that guy's explosive. Just give him the ball. He only trails Chubb in yards per carry with 5.6 yards per carry. Despite missing 3 games, he has 723 total yards and 3 TDs.
I love Miles Sanders. I love the potential. Hopefully, Carson Wentz can get it together and that offense can improve. At number 15, we have Josh Jacobs at the New York Jets. It's a great matchup, but Josh Jacobs, he's a little banged up. He's got ankle issues. At 16, we have Kareem Hunt at Tennessee. Hunt still getting 10 touches a game. And again, that Cleveland offense is built to run. They're at 17, J.K. Dobbins, home against Dallas. We'll see how they do tomorrow. Again, we're doing this Tuesday. The game is Wednesday. J.K. Dobbins looks like he's the guy right now. It looks like he's the guy that they want to give the touches to. He's got a great matchup against the Cowboys. We just saw what Gibson did to them. And number 18, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, home against Denver. His usage seems to be shrinking and is becoming touchdown dependent at this point, but it's still the KC offense. And number 19, DeAndre Swift at Chicago. This is a tough matchup, but if Swift plays, if he gets off that COVID list, he is a dynamic player. And now that Matt Patricia's gone, they might just unleash him. And number 20, David Montgomery, home against Detroit. Montgomery also looked good, and it looks like Trubisky might be opening up that offense. Trubisky could be good for Montgomery. At 21, we have Salvon Ahmed, home against Cincinnati. It's a great matchup, and from what Brian Flores said to the media, it appears Ahmed might be the most prepared to line up in week 13. But if he doesn't and Myles Gaskin gets the start, then we'll put Myles Gaskin in here. Ryan, what do you have to say about Ahmed?
Yeah, I like him. He just looks like a complete running back. He's going against Cincinnati. They're ranked 26 overall in defense, and they're ranked 30 against the rush. If he plays, this will be a great matchup. I think he'll be able to do very well.
I agree with you, Ryan, in that I think if it comes down to Ahmed and Myles Gaskin, if they're both healthy, I think Ahmed is going to get the nod. He just looked like a better threat in the red zone, in goal line situations, and he just looked like a better back. Number 22, we have Latavius Murray at Atlanta. Murray got a lot of touches in week 12. I'm not sure he's going to get the same amount of touches, but he's definitely going to be a part of that offensive plan. And number 23, Wayne Gallman at Seattle. I said it before, Gallman is nothing to write home about, but man, he got a lot of touches in week 12, and we expect the same thing. What bumps him down a little is that Daniel Jones might not be playing. Not that Daniel Jones is great or anything, but Colt McCoy, if Colt McCoy is the quarterback, everybody gets downgraded. And number 24, James Conner, home against Washington. Or Benny Snell. Whoever plays, whoever's the lead back, the Steelers are leaning on the pass, leaning on Big Ben. I think that's been the plan now for 3-4 weeks, and I think that trend will continue. At number 25, we have Todd Gurley, if he plays. If he doesn't, then we'll put Brian Hill in here. But we have Todd Gurley home against New Orleans. It's a tough matchup. The New Orleans defense is good, but it's Atlanta's, lead back, whoever may be. So we like them in the top 30. Number 26, Damien Harris at the LA Chargers. Damien Harris, also another guy that gets a lot of yards per carry. He's a tough guy, but he plays no part in the passing game. So if Patriots fall behind and they have to pass, James White comes in, and Damien Harris is forgotten. At number 27, we have David Johnson or Duke Johnson, whoever is the healthy lead back for Houston when they're home against Indianapolis. A tough matchup. Indianapolis is a good defense. At number 28, Melvin Gordon at Kansas City. They might have to pass a lot, but Melvin Gordon is a good pass catcher. He's good catching balls out of the backfield, so we're going to put him in our top 30. And at number 29, we have Cam Akers, who will be at Arizona. Cam Akers showing signs of life. Ryan?
Against a good San Francisco defense, Cam Akers had 84 yards and a touchdown with only 9 carries. Does he deserve more touches? We hope so. And I think fantasy owners have been waiting all season for this.
But if they can just lean on Cam Akers a little more, I think that would be good for the Rams. At number 30, we have Zack Moss, who will be at San Francisco. It appears that Moss is the preferred goal line back for Buffalo. Hence, we have him at 30. And that is our top 30 for week number 13.
Well, thanks for sharing and good luck.
You're welcome.